Hi, it's Karen. Thanks so much for popping by today. I've got a scrapbooking layout for you today. I am using a collection from Uniquely Creative, which is an Australian company. You'll see that a lot. I try to, as much as I possibly can, use Australian products. You'll just see me here flipping through some of the pages. It's called Country Roads. It's quite a little bit different for me. It's not a hugely bright piece of collection. But I actually really enjoyed working with this one. It gave me a little bit of a feel for a grungy sort of look that I went for. I was pulling together this layout as part of an entry for a challenge over at Kitaholic Kit's Anzac Cybercrop. Then this was actually a sketch challenge as well. It was an awesome sketch, which I actually don't have the photo of here, but it was a fantastic sketch. Went from top to bottom, so it was a vertical type layout. So I decided I'd go definitely a little grungy with this one. So I chose some background paper that's a little bit wood grainy, but has some shades of, you can see the windmill on the right hand side there. Now to start off with what I did, you'll see there that I have done some modelling paste work with a stencil from Beardy. This was a brick type stencil. And I've also used a cut file as well, a couple of cut files which have these circles, and I've backed them with other papers from the collection. Part of the inks that I'm using that I've put over there, and you'll see a little bit more of that later, is Beardy Colour Blast ink as well in rust. And I've used some colour spray, what's that called? Dina Wakley colour gloss spray in the mineral colour, and also one of the Colour Blast colour mica powders in Olive Grove as well. Once I've done that, I realised I probably didn't really have enough on the page. It just didn't show up enough. And so I decided I also needed more modelling paste work there. So I grabbed that stencil again and ran through modelling paste with all those little tiny dots, and then ran back over with the rust ink as well. So I just basically put a lot of water on this page. Oh, I should also say, before I started everything, I did coat the piece of paper with clear gesso because I knew I was going to use lots and lots of water. So once that had dried, I pulled out some inks and also some Scrap FX stamps as well. I just got these recently as part of my design team. This isn't a design team layout, but I always pull out my Scrap FX stamps. They're so easy to use. So I've pulled out my distress oxides in my little tiny, it's 1 inch ones, or are they 2 inch ones? I'm not sure. In Evergreen Bow is the green colour. That orange Stays On is a colour that I'm not actually a really big fan of. So once I started doing that, it's called Orange Zest, and I really didn't like the look of that. So I only did a couple of dots there. Then grabbed out my black ink and put some more hash lines in there as well. I used some of the papers to also add some embellishments across the circles as well for the cut files. There was a really good cutout sheet from the actual collection. You'll see there that while I'm backing that my photos with some other patterned paper, I'm also grunging them up a little bit, distressing them and things like that. I've also placed some strips of paper vertically down the page as well. Now the sketch itself had, it was more like strings, but I didn't really want to use strings, so I thought the good way to sort of interpret that was to actually put some paper strips across down the page as well. I did try this multiple times. I tried them horizontally, I tried them vertically, but I ended up deciding on the vertical element there. I used quite a few scraps as I was cutting along, etc. as well. Backed my photo, grunged it up, like I said, with my distress tool to back the photos there. Once I pulled it all together, then I did turn the camera off for a while because I was really struggling with where to put the circles, because I I ended up covering quite a bit of that mixed media, but I really loved the circles, so I didn't want to take any of them away. So I did turn the camera off for a bit, walked away. I think I might have said that in my last video as well. This took me a few hours to do this particular layout that day. I think it might be because I don't normally do grungy type layouts, so every time I looked at it, it didn't feel right. So while I was fussing around here, I had put some cotton on the layout, and I'd even started gluing things down. All those circles are glued down, and actually my photos were glued down as well. Luckily the glue hadn't dried, because I really realised that it wasn't there. I needed a soft element. It was too stark, or it just wasn't sitting right for me. So I needed a soft texture underneath that photo, underneath the photos. So I pulled out some muslin that I got, which was actually also uniquely creative as well, that I had within my stash, and put that behind both photos, in fact. Then I added some splatters across the page, and I used the Dina Wakley gloss sprays in mineral, and I also pulled out the distressed oxide sprays, which in Rustic Wilderness, which is a brand new one that I've got, which is a fantastic green colour. So I really ended up loving how this layout turned out. The photos are of my nephew Oliver, who you always will see in the coming videos. So there's my finished layout. I've got a few close-ups as well to show you. So thank you so much for coming and joining me today. I hope you've got something out of watching me pull this together today. Thank you so much again. I'll see you next time.